Hello everyone, this is our 15th lecture. This lecture is based on carrier added distance scheme for transmission line. In this scheme, the power line itself is used as channel for carrying information between the two ends of the transmission line. Two different types of communication channels are used presently, that are carrier current channel and microwave channel. In carrier current channel, high frequency in the range of 30 kHz to 60 kHz, commonly known as carrier, are transmitted over the conductors of the protected line. The scheme is generally used for 100 kV and above. The application of power line has been for the purpose of supervisory control, telephone communication, telemetering and relaying. In microwave channel, ultra high frequency in the range of 450 MHz to 1000 MHz. In earlier, we are using kilohertz frequency. Here we are using megahertz frequency. The maximum length of simplest microwave channel is about 40 to 60 kilometers. Channels for long transmission line use radio relaying techniques, or in other words, the signals are beamed by antennas from point to point like a TV signals. The communication channel is space in this case. So therefore, there is no need of fitting additional equipment in the transmission lines. Okay. Advantage of carrier current channel: no separate wires are needed for signaling. In wire pilot protection, we require direct physical connection. Direct wires are connected from one end to other end. Here, no separate wires are needed for signaling, as power line themselves carry power as well as communication signals. Hence, the capital and running cost is lower, or capital and running costs are lower. Transmission path is fully controlled by operating authority. Carrier signal suffers much less attenuation on power lines than on usual telephone lines on account of very low resistance of power lines compared to telephone lines. Large spacing between the conductors of power line reduces capacitance, which results in smaller attenuation at higher frequency. The transmission medium is robust and therefore reliable. The carrier equipment: the main element of carrier channels are transmitter, receiver, coupling equipment and line trap. This is general arrangement for carrier equipment. Transmission requirement, reception requirement. From protective relay control circuit to the transmitter, from line to receiver to carrier receiver. This is general arrangement for transmission requirement as well as reception requirement, receiver requirement. In transmitter circuit, as we need to increase the frequency, therefore there is a need of oscillator and amplifier. In the receiver circuit, as we have to reduce the frequency, so we require matching transformer as well as attenuator. These two schemes we are using: receiver with input attenuator, a receiver with input limiter. Here, attenuator, matching transformer, band pass filter, amplifier detector and then carrier receiver relay. This is given to the protective relay. Here, matching transformer, band pass filter, limiter, amplifier detector and given to the carrier receiver relay. In transmitter, we increase the frequency. In receiver, we decrease the frequency. We attenuate this signal and we match. Okay. Next, the typical diagram of carrier current pilot relay scheme. This one indicates a line trap. This is coupling capacitor. 3 is drainage coil. 4 is tune coil connecting filters. 5 is series capacitor connecting filter. 6, this indicates coaxial cable. T indicates transmitter. R indicates receiver, while 7 indicates protective gap. The same is applied at the other end, and this is our protected line. Circuit breaker, this is CT, this is line section. You can consider this as AB. So at one end we have line trap, coupling capacitor, drainage coil, tune filters, RC. This is your tune coil connecting filter, series capacitor connecting filter, inductor and capacitor, coaxial cable, transmitter as well as receiver. Other end same. The carrier current equipment can be classified as follows: phase comparison scheme and directional comparison scheme. In phase comparison pilot relay operates on the principle of comparing the phase position of the current at the two ends of the protected section. The phase comparison current protection of these current is made over the carrier channels. During normal condition or through faults, means external fault, the current entering the line at one end differ in phase approximately 180 degree from those entering the line at the other end. Therefore, the relaying quantities at two ends are about 180 degrees apart during normal condition and or through fault condition. It is 180 degree apart. However, during an internal fault, relaying quantities at two ends have a phase difference of nearly zero. How? Suppose fault is here. Now definitely if you consider phase like this, okay, inside fault, okay, so we consider fault like this, okay, current will go or fault current will go like this. So definitely it will be again from positive half to negative half. Both are in phase. Both are in phase. Here also current is leaving. Here is also current is leaving. So that's why here phase difference between two phases, between phase difference between the two currents is same. So that's why fault signal is given. While in case of external fault, here it is leaving, here it is entering. So definitely it will be out of phase. Out of phase means first negative and then positive. Phase comparison scheme, as you can see here line trap, circuit breaker, coupling equipment. This is transmitter circuit, this is receiver circuit. Transmitter, oscillator, modulator, amplifier, receiver amplifier, band pass filter, comparator. Here summation network, fault detector, and then from this it is given to the trip relay. This is at one end, other end similar. Okay, now we'll see how the phase comparison scheme works. Okay, here we'll consider two sections. We'll consider fault F1 as internal fault, while fault F2 as external fault or through fault. Current flowing into the line AB at A. Current flowing into the line AB at A. Current is flowing like this for internal fault. So it will be you can show like this, or it will be like this. Okay, for fault at F2, current flowing from A will be definitely it is in this direction. So it is again positive half, negative half, positive half and negative half. Okay, now second, current flowing into line AB at B. Now we will consider current flowing at B. For fault at F1, it is leaving. So we will consider positive half, negative half, positive half, negative half. For fault at F2, it is IF2 is, you can see IF2 is entering. So you can draw like this, negative, then positive, then negative, then positive. Okay, now carrier transmission at A to A and B. Carrier transmission at A to A and B. There will carrier transmission from this relay A to A as well as B. It is transmitted only during positive half. So from this it is positive, from this it is positive, from this it is positive. From here it is positive, from here it is positive, from here it is positive. Okay, carrier transmission at B at A and B. From B is this. From B it will be sent to A as well as B. So it will be, in this case it is positive, negative, positive, negative, positive. So it will be again, for this case it is positive, again for positive. Carrier transmitted only during positive half. Now in this case you can see here, here it is negative, so no signal transmission. It is transmitted only during positive half. No signal transmission, transmitted only during positive half. Now sum of carrier, here we have summation network. Okay, so sum of carrier receive at A and rectified, then it is during positive half. 1 0 1 0 1 0. Here addition of these two complete sum of carrier received at B and rectified 101010. It is this 1010 indicates signals will be given transmitted. This signal is transmitted and it is given to the circuit breaker, while in this case no signal is transmitted. That means in case of internal fault signal is transmitted, while in case of through fault and normal condition it is blocked or it is not transmitted. Illustrate the method of phase comparison carrier protection. It can be seen that the carrier is transmitted only during positive half of the current cycle. You can see 1 2 already we have seen, 3 4 already, 1 2 1 and 2 for internal fault at A and B we have seen, 3 4 summation carrier transmission in 3 and 4, then 4 5 indicates, then 5 indicates, 5 and 6 indication, 5 and 6 indicate summation. When the signal has a zero value for specified time as t, the circuit breaker is tripped by an auxiliary equipment, whereas for non-zero value of signal throughout the entire cycle the breaker is prevented for tripping. You can see here breaker is prevented for tripping, while here it is tripping signal is given to the circuit breaker. Now we'll see the phase comparison scheme is a unit protection scheme because zone is defined. It measures the current entering the protected line at the local and far ends, and by comparing these two current it issues the trip decision or blocking command. Okay. Now what are the different apparatus involved in phase comparison scheme? That will see coupling capacitor. What is the use of this coupling capacitor? What is the use of this line trap? Now coupling capacitor, now you can see where this is coupling capacitor, this second indicate coupling capacitor. Now what is the use of this coupling capacitor? As you can see here, as this is connecting your transmitter circuit with your power line, so definitely as it is connecting your transmitter receiver circuit to the power line, so it should provide high impedance. It should provide high impedance to the current, as this protector line also carries voltage and current, so it should provide high impedance to the power frequency, so that this power frequency current and voltage should not enter here, while it should provide low impedance to the carrier frequency, because carrier signals are being transmitted through this to the power line, so it should provide low impedance to the carrier frequency signal while high impedance to the power frequency signal. Okay, what is the use of this line trap? As it is connected at the both ends, so whatever carrier signal you are sending, it should not go in the other section. So this tuned LC filter it should provide high impedance to the carrier signal, so that carrier signal should not pass like this, while it should provide low impedance to the power frequency signals. Okay, so it is both have reverse role. Okay, drainage coil is used for earthing. This is used for protecting equipment. This is tune filters 4 and 5. It matches the frequency. Okay, this is transmitter and receiver. Okay. Coupling capacitor are used to couple the carrier equipment to the high voltage transmission line. They offer low impedance to the path to the high frequency carrier signal, but high impedance path to the 50 Hz power frequency signal. Wave trap or line trap is a parallel tune circuit. It offers reverse of this, low impedance to the power frequency signal but high impedance to the carrier frequency signal. Thus the signal is trapped between the two ends of the line. There are several methods to couple the carrier signal to one or more of the conductors of the transmission line. The simplest method is single phase coupling, which uses one phase of the power line with ground as return path. It requires fewer coupling capacitor and wave traps. Pass gap. protective gap. Spark gap provide protection to the coupling equipment against overvoltages. Transmission and receiver circuit. A transmitter unit contacts an oscillator block which generates high frequency carrier signal. It also contains amplifier block which amplifies the signal. The receiver unit contains an attenuator block and matching element and filtering circuits. Okay. Now second scheme, directional comparison scheme. In directional comparison scheme we are comparing the direction. The direction of the current flow is compared at the two ends of the protected line by means of directional relay. The condition for internal external faults are shown in figure. Okay, look here. For internal fault current will be like this. For external fault current will go like this. For faults in the protected section, power flows in the tripping direction at both ends. A simple signal through the carrier current protection is transmitted from one end to the other during fault. The pilot scheme can be used for transmitting either blocking or permitting signals. Hence, two types of protection are possible: carrier blocking scheme or carrier permitting scheme. Either the carrier signal will block the operation of the relay or it will permit the operation of the relay. Depending on, there will be carrier blocking scheme and carrier permitting scheme. Now in directional comparison method for relay protection is illustrated by means of this figure. The operation of directional element on each breaker is indicated by arrow and non-operation by 0. Suppose if you consider fault at F here, then this relay will operate as this is away from this. If you consider fault F here, so definitely current will flow like this. So this 4 will operate, this 3 will operate, but here this is the direction is reverse, na? Current will go like this, tripping direction is away from the bus, so this will not operate. So 0 is indicated. So 1 will operate, 1 is on the verge of operation, 3 and 4 will operate. So 0 indicates this is non-operation of the relay. Okay. These relay, unless blocked from operation, cause tripping of the breakers. The blocking signal is controlled by the directional relay on each breaker and transmitted from one end of the protected section to the other by carrier. In this, what it will do, this signal the relay as in this section, as this is non-operating, so it will send signal to this relay to block the operation, because as fault is not in this zone 1 and 2, so it will send blocking signal to the relay 1 which is located at position 1 to block the operation. Okay. If the directional element at both ends show the fault is in the protected section, no blocking signal is transmitted from either end and both breakers trip. Here, as direction both breakers are tripping, so no blocking signal is transmitted, both will trip. Okay. The carrier blocking scheme provides more reliable operation than the carrier permitting scheme. This is because of failure of carrier permitting scheme signal equipment will mean a failure in the isolating the fault, whereas a failure in carrier blocking signal equipment isolate the section on which no fault exists. Means healthy section will get disconnected if suppose we are using carrier blocking scheme. However, this type of false operation is preferable to failure to clear a faulted section. Now this scheme is added in 3-step distance protection. Carrier added distance protection 80%, 40 to 50%, and then next backup protection. So in this 20% we are adding this, in this 20% we are adding this carrier signals. Okay. Now this is carrier blocking scheme. It is, if we are using more relay, then this reverse locking relay, the protected section is this much only. This is our line to be protected. While if it falls, if the characteristics falls in this reverse locking relay, the relay will not operate. This is line to be protected. Okay. Disadvantage, again this also have a disadvantage. Carrier blocking scheme also have a disadvantage. If suppose the carrier signal fails, then there is possibility of mal-operation in case of failure of carrier signal, relay or communication equipment. during an internal fault. If suppose during an internal fault, if it fails, definitely it will cause cause a fault. There is possibility of prevention of or attenuation of the carrier signal so that the trip signal would be received. During an internal fault, there is a possibility of prevention. Even though during internal fault there is a possibility of prevention. Okay, so everyone has advantages as well as disadvantages. So we have carrier added transfer tripping scheme, carrier permitting, carrier blocking, and this is transfer tripping scheme. In transfer tripping scheme is viable scheme, particularly when the communication channels independent of the power line. When we have transmitting through the space, then we are using this carrier added transfer tripping scheme. Tripping scheme are more advantageous than the blocking scheme because of the following reason. In the tripping scheme, there is no need to use additional time delay or coordination time which is mandatory for blocking scheme to avoid mal trip during external fault. Okay, so that's why we are using this transfer tripping scheme. This setting of blocking relay is lower than the tripping relay. The setting of blocking relay is lower than the tripping relay. There is possibility of mal operation of the blocking relay in case of heavy loading or highly unbalanced condition. Therefore, to avoid this problem, the transfer tripping scheme is used. In this scheme, we have underreach transfer tripping scheme, overreach transfer tripping scheme. In underreach transfer tripping scheme, whatever fault in between this 20% zone, the relay which is located here will send signal to this, that instantaneous, this is again it will send signal instantaneous to this relay that it is fault is occurred in our zone, so it will operate instantaneously. It is underreach transfer tripping scheme. In this scheme, both have 80% zone, 80% of the total line protected. In case of fault within the zone F1, within F1, along with the fault detector FD1, F2 to operate instantaneously and trip the respective breaker at each end. In case of fault for remaining 20%, as I told, for remaining 20%, this F2 will send this fault at F2, this R2 will send signal to this R1. Okay, this is known as direct underreach transfer tripping scheme. Same is overreach transfer tripping scheme. In this overreach transfer tripping scheme, as this fault is outside, for internal fault both will send signal that it fault has occurred in our zone and both relay will operate. During an internal fault at any point within the protected line section, say F1, both relays R1 and R2 operate instantaneously as they sense this fault in their first zone. At the same time, they also send carrier signal to the far end which closes the contact of the receiver relay to trip the circuit breaker at each end. In the case of external fault on either side of bus B or bus A, say F2, at this side, external fault. In case of an external fault on either side of bus B or bus A, say F2, relay R1 operate in its first zone and sends a carrier signal at bus B to close the contact of the receive relay RR2. However, no tripping signal is initiated at bus B as relay R2 does not operate. Look here, for fault at F2 this will send signal to operate, but for fault at F2 this will not send signal to this to operate. So for fault outside the zone, one is sending signal while other is not sending signal, so this two relay will not operate. While in case of underreach transfer tripping scheme, both relay will send signal for fault in between this zone, that fault has occurred in our zone, so both relay will operate. Here for fault outside the zone, one will send signal while other will not send signal. So the relay will not operate. This is called as overreach transfer trapping scheme. Thank you. Everything about your transmission line is over. Already we have discussed this in our live lecture. Now you can note this. Thank you.